We're up to Arcanum 16 of the Mebes Tarot Majors course, which is the Tower and the pathway between Netzach and Hod. That's from the Mebes Tarot deck. These events have been necessary because the great arcanum of the knowledge of good and evil has been revealed. This arcanum expresses in the divine world the punishment of pride. And the voice said, "The building of the tower was begun by the disciples of the great master in order to have a constant reminder of the master's teaching that the true tower must be built in one's own soul, that in the tower built by hands there can be no mysteries, that no one can ascend to heaven by treading stone steps. The tower should warn the people not to believe in it." The sign of the alphabet corresponding to the Arcanum 16 is Ayin, whose numeric value is 70. The hieroglyphic of the Arcanum is an already existing connection that materializes and is even in a state of tension in the sense used in mechanics. This connection always causes a reaction. The reaction, which in itself is not a force, in certain cases can be used as such. In general, this happens when other forces exist simultaneously. This is the case of the Arcanum 16, which can only act in the presence of the Arcanum 15, which is the devil. The Arcanum 16 is the Jack of the family, whose mother is Arcanum 14, and the androgynous son, the Arcanum 15, 14 being the guardian angel. In other words, the mother, the deduction, convinced of the indispensability of logic, applies it to the demonstration of theses. However, the thesis is usually demonstrated by the logical exclusion of other possibilities. This exclusion is conditioned by the metaphysical reactions of the basic laws of thought, which are connection in a state of tension. In the same way, the need for astral harmony felt by a pentagram, that is, its desire to balance activity with intuition, leads one to create a whirlwind of the Nahash type. This whirlwind, taking advantage of the astral connections and the state of tension in which it finds itself, acts for astral constraint, activating the vitality of one of the forms at the expense of the vitality of others. The complicated process of energy transformations in the universe sets in motion the agent called phaeton, which, by means of the physical reactions of the connections in a state of tension, surpasses one at the expense of another, which often seems to have the same potential to manifest. Now we will better understand the three titles of the Arcanum: logical elimination, astral constriction, and physical destruction. In erudite language, the Arcanum is called the Tower of Destruction, or Tower Struck by Lightning. In common language, House of God. The astrological correspondence of the Arcanum is the sign of Capricorn. Its blade features a tower which collapses when it's been struck by lightning. Along with the wreckage of the tower, two men, one crowned, another without a crown. You can just see that. The arms and legs of one of them were arranged so as to form the letter Ayin. The blade illustrates the third title of the Arcanum, which, by the law of analogy, makes us remember the two others. The physical destruction is very visible. The tower is crumbling. but beyond two men who wanted to remain on the heights fell from it, and who, without regard to any land authority, one of them is crowned, are precipitated downwards by an energetic manifestation or electrical discharge. This is the image of astral constraint, ruled by a superior force which does not care for worldly privilege. The image may also help us better understand what logical elimination is. Let us turn to arithmetic analysis to be able, through the particular characteristics of the Arcanum, to discover its general meaning. 16 equals 1 plus 15, and 16 equals 15 plus 1. The individual, 1, applies the Arcanum 15, and this in turn transfers the action to another individual. It is a clear indication that the Arcanum 16 may come into play only when there is the operator and the patient. These two words should be understood in the widest possible sense. 16 equals 2 plus 14, and 16 equals 14 plus 2. The metaphysical substance, 2, and the deduction, 14, determine the logical elimination, which is 16. Of course, without the necessary substance, nothing can be done. The polarity of human nature, 2, and the aspiration to harmonize it, 14, lead to the use of astral constraint, 16. In general, we felt the need to act in order to manifest that which penetrated us thanks to our receptivity. 16 equals 3 plus 13, and 16 equals 13 plus 3. The powerful creativity, 3, of the metaphysical world, and the permanence, 13, of the values of it, together justify the theses of elimination, 16. Birth, 3, and the inevitability of death, 13, lead us to use the period between the two of physical existence as a point of support for astral constraints, 16. The creativity of nature, 3, and the transformations of energy, 13, together result in frequent destruction, 16. 16 equals 4 plus 12, and 16 equals 12 plus 4. The inevitability of the existence of form, 4 in thought, and faith in the possibility of incarnation of the superior principles, 12, condition the correction of logical deductions, 16, in the field of philosophy. Authority, 4, along with mercy, 12, are a powerful stimulus to the constraints, the astral constraints, 16. The adaptability, 4, and the existence of several facets of the zodiacal life, 12, make it inevitable the destruction of achievements, 16. 16 equals 5 plus 11, and 16 equals 11 plus 5. Universal magnetism, 5, together with the force of metaphysical principles, 11, in themselves create theses, 16. The pentagram, 5, resting on the egregores of the chains, 11, constricts astrally, 16. Religion, 5, and conformation to the forces of nature, 11, make one accept the inevitability of physical destruction. 16 equals 6 plus 10, and 16 equals 10 plus 6. The law of analogy, 6, and revelation, 10, are enough to determine the set of theses, 16, of a normal philosophy. Free will, 6, and knowledge of Kabbalah, 10, give the power of astral constraints, 16. The laws of life of a certain environment, 6, and the implacability of the mill of the world, 10, determine physical destruction. 16 equals 7 plus 9, and 16 equals 9 plus 7. If in us the spirit predominates, 7, over form, and we are not deprived of superior protection, 9, then we will construct a complex philosophical theses, 16. If we are winners, 7, in the proof of the paths and attain initiation, 9, we will be given the power of astral constraints, 16. 16 equals 8 plus 8. The comparison of one thesis compared to another, the conditional predominance of a situation opposite to the conditional predominance of another situation, an individual karma opposed to another individual karma, all of this must lead to the application of Arcanum 16 in the field of the Theosophical Ternary.